Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married.
Look at us.
We are coming to you from our backyard.
We're trying something new.
We're trying something new, and we have microphones that are hopefully blocking out the background noise.
Those stupid birds.
So I just got this tiki mug last night from some friends of ours as a gift, and I just realized on the back it says, "To the victor go the spoils." So
Good to remember.
Yeah, I am not drinking a tiki drink, unfortunately, out of this. I am drinking a watermelon White Claw.
It's pretty much the same thing, though.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, because I am that girl. All right, so we have lots of stuff for you today. We have some finished objects.
Yep.
Some kind of finished objects, or half-finished objects.
Yep.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that with a sweater, but
Whatever.
and then
Is it more than half done?
it's way more than half done.
There you go.
But it's got one sleeve finished. That's why I'm calling it a half object.
Yeah.
And then talk about our knit along. I don't have any new cast-ons.
I have sort of a cast on.
Sort of. Oh yeah, I guess it would be sort of a cast-on.
It's a conceptual cast on.
Yeah.
So.
And then one thing that's stash enhancement, or as the needles at the ready guys say, breaking the bank. Oh, this isn't breaking a bank because it's only one skein of yarn.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
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 Cool.
I would say we just don't worry about. Yeah. We're gonna have to edit all that out. It's terrible.
All right, so it's a little odd because our neighbors are like right on the other side of our fence, and so they're probably thinking that we're weird, but
They already knew that, though.
they already knew that, and I think they know we do a YouTube show, don't they?
I'm sure we've told them, stupid birds.
I don't think that the microphone's picking that up. We'll find out. We'll find
Right.
out when we edit it in post.
Right, we'll just take the birds out and post. Like this pole, we're going to take this pole
Yeah,
out
the
and
pole
post.
we're going to take out that's holding up our umbrella. It is rather warm and humid here today. I don't
Right.
actually know what the temperatures are.
It might be a little shiny,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
And my shirt might start to change color as I sweat through it. But we thought it'd be fun to do this outside.
Yeah,
So
we have a nice deck. We like it. We're trying to spend more time outside because it is nice. It is Memorial Day weekend in Minnesota, which is the official start of summer here.
that's true. Oh, it is Memorial Day. You're like you said, it's the beginning of the unofficial beginning of summer here.
Right.
Because most people don't plant things, plant annuals until
Right.
this time of year. Plant
It's
their
not
vegetables.
safe.
Yeah, because it'll freeze potentially since we get snow. Well, I mean, I've been in snow in the middle of June here, but
Right.
Further north than this. So what was my point with that?
It's Memorial Day. It's outside.
That's why we're outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to spend as much time outside as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And we got we just got a fancy new umbrella. You can't see it, but
Right.
and a fancy new tablecloth. And so we're gonna grill our best lives.
we are
out
living our
here.
best lives. And then we also have our Angela Lansbury rabbit hole,
Yes.
also known as a movie review.
Mhm.
Although Caleb from the Bearded Pearl podcast referred to it as a movie along.
I like that.
That's kind of fun.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
An MVAL. 'Cause-
Oh yeah, mal is make
Yeah.
along, so you could say an MVAL.
Or a filmicon. Film along. Or a cinema.
a foul,
foul.
film along.
Film along. I like
Or we could do an Alm along, Angela Lansbury movie along.
it. Alm along.
I think we're doing Alm along.
I think Alm along. Yeah, totally. That's hashtag SweetTeaNoShade Alm along.
Yeah, that's all we need is another hashtag. So we have lots of fun stuff. Oh, and then I got my needles from Betty Ann. She did one nice thing in her life, and
Well,
got
she
me a
did,
gift.
raise you.
Yeah, she did raise me on her own,
Yeah.
and she is the best mom ever.
She is.
I do have to say that. Every time I say something mean now, I'm gonna have to keep a hashtag and then mumble something nice about her as well. Speaking of which, there is some conspiracy going on with her and Kevin and Ray from the from the Needles at the Ready podcast about a new nickname for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
we haven't gotten to that point yet.
yeah, that's all we need is Betty Ann teaming up with other podcasters. That would be the downfall of society, I think.
Well, you know, she's done it before, so.
That's true. Although typically it's at the downfall of the other podcasters, like when poor Cody from the Cody Knits podcast was pressured into hanging out with us more than once now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've gotten together at
that retreat
at
in
a retreat.
What was that city? Lanesboro.
It's not Valdosta. Thomasville, Georgia.
And then we've been in Atlanta before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, why don't we get started? All right. So I finished my socks that I was working on.
Hooray.
So I should probably put them not behind the pole. So this is Ted Knits UK. This is Foxy, and then the toes I decided to do in Ted Knits UK Gold Dust. And so I really like the way they turned out. I follow the Rose City Rollers pattern for my heel flap and gusset, and then I do a regular toe where you decrease by 4 stitches every other round, all the way down to 12 stitches on either side, and then Kitchener the toe together. I do a 2x2 rib at the top for what would that be, like 1.25 inches, inch
Sure.
and a half. And I do about 7 inches for the leg, and then from the bottom of the heel flap to where I start the toes about 6 3/4 inches. So yeah, so they turned out well.
Those were hot at the needles. You finished them this morning.
Yeah,
right?
I just finished them, like an hour ago.
Nice.
The thing that's interesting is on this sock, for some reason, there's a few spots where there's some, I wouldn't call them gaps, but it's almost like laddering where I picked up the stitches for the gusset stitches. It's not a problem. It's just I don't know that I've ever noticed that before or had that before, but it actually kind of looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know if you guys can see that, but right where I picked up the gusset stitches, I haven't had that problem before, so I don't know. And I only had the problem on one of the socks. I didn't do anything differently. Oh, you know what? No, I didn't do anything differently. I was going to say I did the decreases on the 9-inch circulars on one sock, and I did the decreases on the DPNs on the other sock, but that's not where you would pick up the gusset stitches. So, and when I pick up the gusset stitches, I pick up the leg of both legs of the knit stitch.
I don't know what you're talking about at all. But I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Well, that's how you usually talk to me. So.
Yeah.
So I pick up both legs of the knit stitches instead of just one. I think you can pick up just one because I just feel like it's more secure. But yeah. So anyway, it turned out.
Yeah.
I really like the way it turned out. So I'm excited to wear those. And the other thing, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the stash enhancement part. I thought it would be kind of funny because I had talked about in a previous episode the fact that I was afraid that my gold yarn that I had bought for these toes was going to get stuck in quarantine limbo forever since it was coming from the UK. But so what happened was I ended up going and buying gold yarn from 2 other places to see, I was super impatient. But I also knew I was going to use gold. I could use gold toes on socks forever, so I just thought it would be kind of funny. So this is Gold Dust by Ted Knits UK. This is what I showed last time, which is Pineapple by Sweet Georgia.
Which, by the way, we learned in the comments, Sweet Georgia is part the Georgia Strait of Vancouver Island.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, one of the
comments.
commenters talked about that she's a dyer in Vancouver, and there's a Georgia Strait.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that otherwise that whole like Georgia and like from Canada made no sense.
Well,
for
and being from the state of Georgia in the United States, of course, I just assumed it was.
of course, well, like,
Georgia.
and sweet Georgia, like sweet Georgia brown.
Right.
Anyway,
SweetTeaNoShade. And then the third gold that I bought this was the one that came since our last episode, which is Alegria, Manos del Uruguay Alegria, which is their sock face.
which I love.
Yeah. It's, I think it's 75/25.
I don't think it is.
It's 75 superwash merino, 25% polyamide.
Oh, okay.
Or
Never mind.
polyamide, which is, I think, nylon.
Right.
But this is in the colorway turmeric. So, 3 very different golds.
Right.
But it's kind of fun. So, anyway. All right. Why don't you take it away?
So this is my finished object. This is...
Don't forget about the poll.
This is the Tailwind Shawl by Josh Ryks-Robinsky, also known as Geonitrix Designs. Finished it a couple of days ago, just blocked it, took it off the needles. I mean, blocked it, woven the ends.
You blocked it, then you took it off the needles?
Yeah,
That's
that would be
interesting.
funny. So anyway, super happy how it turned out. I really like, and the yarns, the sort of background yarn is Rustic Wanderings by Die Monkey Yarns, and then the sort of different triangles and stripes are Whip Beyond Measure by a dyer who I don't. That's backwards, babe.
Oh. It's going to make noise on the microphone, I'm afraid, but...
Yeah, it's all right. Whip Beyond Measure by a dyer who no longer dies. So, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So there it is. I like it because it is like sometimes when you do a shawl,
How does it look?
it looks great. Looks
Like,
like
could I wear this?
looks like you're about to eat lobster.
Oh, does it look like a bib?
Yes. You need to drape it a little more casually. But yeah, all
Hang on, I'll play
done.
with it. That's a good way to do this. I guess I could do it over this way.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
You don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So, what I've been doing is I do it like this, and sort of zhuzh it like that. Well, sort of like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I really
It's really comfortable.
like it. Really, don't block the mic or not, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really like it. It was a really fun pattern to knit. I like the fact, like sometimes you knit a shawl, and you block it, and it grows like 5,000 feet, and you basically have a tablecloth. And so I feel like this is a very manageable weight. It's very, it's fingering weight yarn, so it's very light. So I think it's a good fall accessory, spring accessory.
Oh yeah, fall, especially with the colors.
And then it was kind of fun when I was doing the blocking. I sort of, got these little tips going out pretty severely, which is kind of fun too.
Yeah.
So yeah, very fun knit. Thank you for Josh for designing it. It's a really great pattern. Yeah, and super fun. And I really like the way the colors turned out. And it was just a really good way. I think what I said before is like if you have a set of like 6 mini skeins that you want to use up, it's a really good way to do that. So yeah.
So, what was my question about this? So that's a really good point. Is if you have 6 mini skeins,
Right.
Because there's always.
Because I had a set of 5 mini skeins and I had to find a 6th one. But I mean, you could also. The nice thing is that you don't have to. You could actually just use. I mean, there's 12 of these rows.
So
you could take like 12. It's a good stash buster too. You could take any 12 colors you wanted to do, or if you want to be super
or
awesome,
6, yeah.
you could even do the main color in different things. You could do like a whole rainbow flag of stuff on this.
And which is what he did in his sample.
Yeah.
In his pattern.
Yeah, his was
kind of black was the main
black
color.
with a bunch of really bright colors. So
Yeah.
and this is more subdued, which is fun.
So okay, sorry, I'm going to form a thought here. So you do look like you're about to eat lobster. Yeah.
I think
Maybe it needs like a shawl pin.
No, I think it needs to sort of like casually drape like this, like sort of,
I think it's you're probably all over the mic.
Whatever.
So this is our first time using the mic, so we're not exactly sure how
experimenting.
everything's going to work.
So yeah.
So okay, what was my question? Oh, so you used so there are 12 total sections. So was that right? 12 triangles?
Yes, 12 triangles, yeah.
Okay, so did you end up using about 120 grams of with all the mini skeins added up, or did you have I'm trying to figure.
I had quite a bit left over.
Okay.
Left over for the mini skeins. So
you could have it doesn't require a full 100, because a lot of times mini skeins are 20 grams each if it's a set of 5.
Oh no, that was.
I think a lot of times a mini skein adds up to 100 grams, or a mini skein set adds up to 100 grams.
Right, it's usually 20 grams each, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Something
if there's
like
5, it's 20 grams each.
Right.
But if it's 6, maybe it's how many? So the Spice Market one you got from those guys,
that one is. I have it right here. So that one is 6. So this one is 6, and it is 120 grams.
Okay, so a typical mini skein must be about 20
grams if it's fingering weight usually.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or I guess, or whatever.
Do they do mini skeins then stuff other than fingering?
I don't know.
Because otherwise it would be a very small amount of yarn.
Right. Be a maxi mini skein.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, very fun. And it was actually a really I like the size, and I think it was a pretty fast knit too. So that was fun also.
Very cool.
All right.
So I finished my first sleeve on my sweater. So
it's a little warm to try it on though.
It's a little warm to try it on, but this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I knit.
Oh, and it's got the same little detail with the cuff. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So several people pointed out that they could definitely tell a difference in the gauge where I picked up the sleeve. And I thought, well, maybe it was because I was knitting it in the using magic loop, or
right.
I didn't, who knew? And I wasn't too worried about it. I'm still not too worried about it.
Right.
But I was like, what is that about? So I realized that the sweater is knit in US size 9s, which I don't know how many millimeters that is. And then you do the bottom cuff, you do the cuffs in a 7.
Right.
And so what I did was, when I knit this,
you were doing it on 7s.
I was doing it on 7. So what you do is you knit the body, and then you do this in 7s, and then you pick up the first sleeve. Well, I didn't switch back to the 9s when I picked up my sleeve. But you know what, I just decided to keep going, or I'm never going to finish my first sweater. It's not going to be perfect, and I think looking at it this way, you can tell, like, because when you hold it up, but I think wearing it and stuff, I'm not going to do
you'll really stretch out a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it myself.
Yeah.
So
I like the cuff.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
I didn't end up making it all the way through all the decreases.
Right, you told me that. Yeah.
I think part of it was because my arms aren't too long. But I just T-Rex arms. But I basically stopped 3 inches before the length that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then added the cuff on. And so I'm happy, because I will say it's a little, I think I was so worried about it being ginormous, and this being my first sweater, I think that it might end up being a little, like, right on the border of too small.
Well, the thing is, if you wear a t-shirt underneath it as opposed to a collared shirt, it'll be fine. It's just going to be...
There's plenty of ease. It's not that. It's not too small. I think I didn't knit it quite long enough.
Oh.
And I could pick up the stitches right before the, what is this called? What am I trying to say?
The ribbing?
The ribbing, thank you. And try to add some length on, which, after I finish it, who knows, maybe I will do that.
Or we can just like hold on to it, like sort of stretch it.
Well, I think that's the thing is it's acrylic.
Right.
It's Wool Ease by Red Heart or Lion Brand. I think it's Lion Brand. Wool Ease, which is 80% nylon, no, acrylic, and then 15, 17, something like that percent nylon. And no, not nylon, wool. I'm sorry, let me try that again. 80 something, let's say 87 or 85% acrylic and 15% wool.
It's basically the opposite of your usual 80-20.
Yeah.
Except, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, point being that it's probably not going to block. I'm probably not going to be able to change the length of it with blocking.
I'm just pulling it.
But, so it does fit. I mean, it's not like it doesn't fit.
No, it's just going to be well, and the other thing you could do is you could also wear, if it were a collared shirt with the little tail untucked.
Yeah. That was the other thing I was thinking about is doing that thing where you wear the little, a button-down shirt underneath.
Yeah,
because a button-down shirt will fit under here.
Yeah.
Although, now that I think about it, if I was gonna wear button-down shirt under this, I don't think I would, because the collar, I still have to pick up the collar and do the ribbing of the collar, and that's gonna bring it right up to my neck.
Right.
So I'm not really gonna have room underneath.
You could just make the neck really long.
Like a turtleneck?
No, I'm just making a joke that you could add length on the neck, and that would somehow make it fit.
But that would make it into like a turtleneck.
I'm making a dumb joke.
But I don't understand the joke. That's the thing, is I don't get the joke.
'Cause it's not long enough, so you could just add length at the top. Whatever.
It's too long is the problem, dear. So
wait, it's too long?
When I pick up the stitches and knit the rib, the neck is gonna be too much ribbing, and it's gonna go up to my neck.
Oh.
And it's gonna hide a collar.
I guess you could do like less ribbing though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't want, you're solving a problem I'm not having.
That's actually
this is a recurring theme in our relationship.
That's actually my job.
Honey, I'm not asking you to problem solve.
But I want to.
So, so my point is, I probably will not wear this wear a collared shirt under this.
Okay.
My thought is with this is going to be a wear on the weekends, wear around a campfire.
Right.
Not
like a fancy
like
dress
something I
sweater.
would wear to work.
Right.
If I ever go into the office again in my life.
Who knows,
Who
right?
knows?
Good Lord.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just super excited that I made it this far. So I'm gonna pivot, and I'm gonna talk about the needles, because that's they go along with this project. So Betty Ann, for my birthday, this is the podcast of birthday gifts.
It is.
Except that you haven't gotten me anything yet. So.
It's on its way.
You know what I just realized we haven't talked about?
What?
Your fabulous haircut.
Yeah, we did. So this is also fresh off the needles.
That is fresh off the needles.
So Scott cut my hair.
I cut your hair for a second time
minutes
now.
ago. Yeah.
And I was much more confident this time. Except, I'm wondering if anybody else, or if it's just me, if you're cutting someone else's hair, I could never be. Well, first of all, I could never be a
barber,
esthetician, barber, hairstylist, because of the fact that I have no training in it, but also because I can't handle it when I'm cutting his hair if he looks in the mirror before it's 100% done and styled, because it makes me super insecure.
Right. It looks great. Very happy with it.
Yeah. So Mom got me the Twist Shorties interchangeable system. That is they're called short lace interchangeables, and I think people have referred to it as the blue set because it's blue where most of the stuff is red. So the thing that's nice about this set is that it has short cables like the Shorties set, but it has larger larger tip sizes, and the tips themselves are much shorter than the full set, than the other set. So the red Shorty set has small, like sock size needle tips. The full Chow set has the larger sizes, but it has long tips. and then this one is kind of like a mix of those two. So these are the tips. It's super cute. Okay, we had to pause for the plane to go over. So this is so what's nice about this is it's got sizes US 4 to US 8, which is 3.5 to 5 millimeters, and it has 2 sets of them. And it's got, I think it's 3-inch and 4-inch tips. So like you've got US 8 in 3-inch, and then you've got US 8 in 4-inch. And the 4-inch ones are hollow, whereas the 3-inch ones are not. So I'm using this because I'm using the US 7s. And you know what I just realized?
What?
This doesn't have 9s. So I wouldn't have been able to do
The sleeves anyway.
the sleeves in this anyway.
Well, it's a Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle. Anyway, so I'm just loving this set. So it comes with these cords. They're blue, and there's a 5-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch cable, so you can make different sizes. What I ended up doing was I had my red smalls, like an 8-inch small cable from the red set already that I was using, so I took the long tips off and put these short tips on, and it worked perfectly.
Cool.
And then it came also with the typical stuff that the Chow Goo stuff comes with, a few stitch markers, some connectors so you can make longer cables, and then the little white things that you screw in to take the tips off if you want to keep your stitches on the cable but then take the tips off. It's like a stitch saver thing. So yeah, so I'm like super excited to have this set. I wonder if they make anything bigger than 8s in these short tips.
I wonder, because that would have to be are those all small cable or is big cable?
They're all small.
Those are
Yeah,
big.
they're not. They're all small.
Okay, because like 9 is where it goes up to the bigger size cable, so maybe that's
Maybe that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately I could have done it in Magic Loop, but I just love knitting in the round.
especially like long sweaters and stuff like that. I did my sleeves in Magic Loop for my last sweater, and like it's fine. It's just I get tired of like constantly.
Yeah, pulling the needle through.
It's hard to get a good rhythm going, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I love this set. It says it makes 9-inch through 14-inch circulars.
okay.
2-inch solid. Oh, it's 2-inch and 3-inch, not 3-inch and 4-inch. So it's 2-inch solid lace tips and 3-inch hollow lace tips. Yeah, so love it. So yeah, so I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other sleeve in 7s, even though that's not what it calls for, just so that they match. So, did you mess up again?
I've been messing up like for 3 rows. This is making me tired.
This project?
Yeah.
Are we witnessing you about to frog a project?
I think we're witnessing about to frog a project.
Yeah, because you did your slip stitches all in a column.
Yeah, and it looks, I mean, it just looks stupid. Anyway, so let's talk about this.
She would never notice it, though.
I know, it's just kind of, I guess it's like one of those things, like it's more frustrating than fun to knit.
Well, that's the death knell of a project for me.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, and it's, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, so we're here, it's called Escama del Dragón. It's a cowl pattern from the Manos de Argyle folk. The colorway I'm using is Bishop's Castle by Herd of Cats.
Not Herd of Turtles.
Not Herd of Turtles. So I guess what I'm struggling with this is that what I really want is a pop.
Hang on.
Sponsored by White Claw.
Not sponsored by White Claw. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Is what I really need right now is a popcorn project, right? And this is not a popcorn project. So what I might do.
What if you did that mosaic cowl that Kevin Oh, but you couldn't use that for the mosaic
Yeah.
knitting.
But I think what I'll do, and this has been a fine project, don't get me wrong. Maybe I'll just do a. It's the slip switch. So I think I talked last time. I turned it around and tried knitting it with regular ways, and I made just as many mistakes.
Right.
So it's just like what I want to do is mindlessly knit this, and it's really pretty. I like this yarn, but maybe I'll just find a different cowl pattern, or
What
different.
if you just did a
vanilla cowl?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty enough yarn. I think it'll be okay. So
I actually think that the yarn. I mean, because the yarn. This pattern actually works fine with this yarn, but if you did a vanilla cowl just stockinette stitch, that yarn is going to make it interesting enough that you wouldn't need a pattern, and that would give you popcorn knitting.
That would give me popcorn knitting. I love popcorn knitting. I don't have any right now, so yeah, I think we're gonna frog this, and just realize that it's pretty, but again, this is so. I mean, I was going to just knit it until I was done with a skein of yarn, and this is how much I have left.
It's going to take you 9 years.
Like, you know how it's like when you have like a project and you just like look at it, you're just like, and I've literally been like, oh God, I have nothing else to knit on. So that's what I've been knitting on. And so, yeah, we can definitely, so yeah, I think this is,
Sorry, I was staring at our dog.
Time 2:25.
Call it time of death.
Dead. So I think I'll just I'll find another cowl pattern, and
just cast on however many stitches that is.
And the thing about is that with knitting on the back side, you can still read it. You just can't read the slip stitches because they're in the front.
Right.
And so okay.
When when I did my, I mean the slip stitches make such an interesting pattern.
Right, but they're making me sad.
They're making you sad.
Because literally I was knitting this thing and I found that I'd slipped done 3 sets of slip stitches in a row and just
in the wrong place.
And they're a pain in the booty to
unknit,
tink back.
to tink back.
Yeah.
When I did that Metropolitan hat and cowl, the hat pattern, I've done it 3 times now. That it's not exactly sequence knitting, but it's got where you slip the stitches 1 knit stitch over.
Yeah.
And I kept making mistakes in that. I mean, that one was easier to read because the slip stitch is each row you're slipping the stitches. With that one, you're not slipping the stitches right away, so it's hard. Plus, you can't see it on the back side.
Yeah. So. And I said when I was doing the front side, I was making just as many mistakes. So it's like your muscle memory you don't get a muscle, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice pattern, and so it's a fine pattern. I'll just make another cowl for her and just use this yarn, because I like the yarn.
And she'll like the yarn.
And she'll like the yarn too. But yeah, another fingering weight cowl. It might be vanilla, or,
Cool.
All right. Well, it's nice to make decisions.
Well, I was going to say something about our podcast being a knitting snuff film, but we're not going to say that.
We're not going to say that. But I think it's important. I think, knitting is something that I do for fun.
Yeah.
And if I'm not enjoying the project, I mean, there's a virtue sort of pushing through when it's uncomfortable. But this one, I've learned it. It's not like it's something I'm learning. It's just.
Well, and the payoff is not worth the struggle. It's a slip stitch pattern. It's not like it's some fancy cable.
Right. I'm not learning anything.
Right.
I'm not excited about it. It's not. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay.
Done. So yeah.
Right, so should we talk about our knit along?
Sure.
Bye
bye.
So
rest in
while
peace.
You're getting rid of the body.
Actually,
disposing of the
I'm
body.
putting the body in a bathtub full of acid first, and then.
So we are doing a knit along, as hopefully many of you know.
It's probably Betty Ann.
All right, so we are doing a knit along. Actually, it's a make along.
Yep.
So basically,
what's
before
the
I get
hashtag?
in, the hashtag is SweetTeaNoShade cowl.
Yes, and someone posted a picture today.
Oh.
I have to remember. I don't remember the name. I just saw it, and it was a little hat.
I can find it right now.
Yeah, it was a hat with and I found it because it was, he tagged us on it, but it's it was a little hat with a Star Trek.
Shut up.
I know. So I'm like, that's exactly like right up our alley.
Okay, so I'm going to search. All right, so for those of you, okay, so we are giving away a
skein of Trilogy Yarns.
Skein of Trilogy Yarns, one for
the Instagram.
We're going to pull a prize from the Instagram hashtag SweetTea2020Cal. We have 11 posts. So
on Instagram?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So those of you out there, if you're interested and you're on Instagram, I know not everybody's on Instagram, but if you're on Instagram, you've got a pretty good chance.
Right.
Then there's the other we're going to pull from the finished objects thread on Ravelry.
Yep.
So it looks like that one you were just talking about is Ed Malulu.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it is a hat.
Yes.
That he's doing that has the communicator thing. And he's finished it.
Yeah.
So he posted it, today, like you said. And then we've also got a post today from Little Bush Baby.
Oh.
And it's Entrelac fingerless mitts for her dad's birthday.
Fantastic. So that's a good example because we have one Entrelac and one Intarsia.
Then the beady butterfly is making an Entrelac. I think she's doing a blanket.
Oh my gosh.
And then we've got Melinda S. Garrison, who's done a Tunisian crochet hat.
Okay.
Which looks like it's Entrelac. And then we've got, and then Trilogy.
Did Trilogy Yarns do something?
Amy and Kenosha, who posted about some Trilogy Yarns that she had purchased.
Cool.
So, probably for the project.
Excellent.
Oh, she got the Midwest Sunset colorway.
Yes.
Sweet. So, awesome. So, anyway, I am doing an Entrelac pattern. You're doing an Intarsia pattern. So why don't you show us your Intarsia pattern, and then I'll show my Entrelac.
So this is going to be more of an introduction to my Intarsia pattern. So obviously I've never knit Intarsia before. So the first thing I wanted to do was at least do a little Intarsia swatch. So I did this. This is just done with acrylic yarn, and so what I wanted to do is just do a diamond and do an Intarsia diamond. So I did it. It's a little uneven. There's the back, but yeah.
Sorry, please hold.
So
sorry, I had to take a picture. Go ahead.
You done?
I'm done.
You don't mean on your phone while we're podcasting?
I never have. We use my phone to podcast all the time, and so it's the first time I've ever had my phone while we're podcasting. It's very exciting.
Maybe we should just keep it that way so you can pay attention.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead, dear.
So anyway, it was really fun. So Intarsia is pretty friggin' easy. It's just a matter of when you change the colors, you do a little twist. The thing that gets really interesting is your yarn gets hella tangled on the back because you're doing so the way it works is this is using 3 bobbins of yarn, so one for the side, one for the middle, one for the side.
Okay.
So you've got.
I'm sorry, please let me put my phone on silence. All right, go ahead.
You done?
I'm done.
You done?
I'm done. You're basic.
You are basic. I love you though.
What do you mean? I'm drinking a watermelon White Claw. How can I be basic?
Oh, you're basic gay. So yeah, the thing that gets tricky is the sort of yarn management.
Out of a tiki mug, no less. I'm sorry, I'm going to let you finish. Keep going.
No, why don't you go?
Love you.
I love you
so
too.
So you can't, so that's interesting. So even though, so do you just meet in the middle with it when it's the same color?
Yeah. Well, what I did is so I knit this part in one color with using one thing, and then when it came time to start the next one, you had to do the other one because you're carrying the yarn across, and so you have to have a different bobbin of yarn. So yeah, it was pretty fun, and the nice thing is it's like nice and flat. I mean, obviously, I don't know what I'd ever do with this particular thing, but it was just really sort of an opportunity to sort of learn to make sure I knew what I was doing with Intarsia using, pretty thick yarn. So yeah, It's easy. If you can carry a float, you can do Intarsia.
I thought the whole point of Intarsia.
No, but it's the same technique. You're basically trapping.
Oh, you're trapping.
Yeah, it's you're twisting the yarn to trap
Gotcha,
it behind
okay.
there. So, and what's interesting is it just has this really sort of flat fabric.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I've made my.
Well, and unlike, I think we talked about this
Mm-hmm.
already, but unlike stranded color work, it doesn't double the thickness of the fabric.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You have a little, sort of like right here where you do the twist, is a little bit of a ridge, but it doesn't.
It certainly can't tell from the front.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that is done. So what I've decided to do, I've been sort of like going back and forth and like doing lots of Ravelry searches for Intarsia and what to do, and I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And what I've decided to finally just do is do kind of what the classic Intarsia pattern is, a pair of Argyle socks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, again, this set of mini skeins from Leading Men Fiber Arts called Spice Market, and I'm going to do, the way is I'm do sort of different, I'm going to use all of them in the sock, so it's going to be kind of sort of patchwork with diamonds with the cross stitch going through. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. And then I ordered a, I needed, okay, here's what's kind of fun. So we were sort of looking through the stash for a yarn that would be a good main color for this.
Oh, I need to talk about that.
Why?
No, I mean, we'll talk about it. Keep going. Sorry.
Is this like we need to talk about it off camera?
No. It's not. It's not mean. No. It's an. I'm going to be asking for advice for what happened.
Okay, yeah.
See if anybody has any advice.
So anyway, we're looking. So anyway, this is going to be sort of the contrast colors, and then I think you'd use this for this gold for the.
Oh, you know what? You could maybe use. Do you need?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. We
I'm
figured
sorry.
it all
I
out.
heard gold, and I was like, I've got some gold yarn you can use.
I know. I actually thought about that. So, this it's going to be sort of Argyle with, and I'll figure out the colors exactly, but it'll be kind of a 3.
Because it's really just four diamonds.
5.
A 5. Okay.
So, and the way it was kind of fun. I found this really great.
Oh, because it's 1 and then 3 and then 1.
No, it is a free pattern. So you basically do the Intarsia, the Argyle is basically 2 diamonds, then 1 diamond. Like that.
Oh, 4, 5. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
1 is split in half.
Yeah, 2 are split. Anyway. So anyway.
Or yeah, 2 are split in half.
So this is, I actually found this free, it's Purple Kitty Yarns.
Oh my god.
And the knitting
Are
pattern.
you serious? Purple Kitty Yarns?
Yeah,
That's
she
amazing.
posted it, and it's a free vintage knitting pattern. So the pattern is from Free Vintage Knitting.
.com.
.com, not .net.
No, I just mean it's a website.
I know.
It's not a magazine or whatever.
No, and so it's just basically a vintage Argyle sock pattern.
PurpleKittyYarns.com.
I know.
That's awesome.
So anyway, it's a free pattern, and it's just it'll be fun. And the fun thing about Argyle socks is I guess you could do it in the round.
This is going to make me want to do Argyle socks.
I guess you do in the round, but you basically knit the Argyle pattern like this part flat, and then you do a heel flap and gusset, and then join it all in the round and then seam up the back.
Right.
So I'm excited about that.
Is the seaming mattress stitch?
Whatever you decide to.
Oh, it just says seam up in the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen Very Pink Knits do, I think it's mattress stitch, and it's amazing how when you do it correctly and you pull that yarn, it just comes together as though there's no seam at all.
So that's really exciting. So I'm very excited about these. Number one, I've always wanted to make Argyle socks. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and like get over my sock phobia and do it. I actually practiced a little bit of the.
I think you're gonna like the heel flap and gusset. It's magical.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I get very excited. I've done 30 pairs of socks, not really, but I've done a lot of socks, and I love doing a heel flap and gusset.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about it. All right.
All right. So I am now going to talk about the project that I'm working on for the knit along, which is an Entrelac hat. The pattern is by Theresa Schabes, I'm pretty sure. Yes, Theresa Schabes, which she has woolywits.blogspot.com. It's the all squared up 2.0. And so I have made quite a bit of progress. Yeah. So I'm up to, I think this is the best way to show it. I'm up to the third. So you start off with the triangle, a row of triangles, or a round of triangles. Then you go to a round of squares, and I'm on to the second round of squares. And I'm almost, I'd say about I'm about halfway through that round. So then you end up with, I think you do 2 more rounds of squares. And the thing that's unique about this pattern, as opposed to other Entrelac hat patterns, from what I understand, is that I just pulled all those stitches off.
Yeah, it makes me so nervous. Okay, good job.
Good job. The thing that's unique about this pattern is that the Entrelac goes all the way up to the end.
Oh, there's no,
there are decreases, but it's
within the Entrelac pattern?
Within the Entrelac pattern. So, so then when you're done, you don't have to do like just stocking it up to the to the end. So yeah, yeah, I mean I've talked about the pattern before. It's super fun to knit. This yarn is amazing. It's Miss Babs. I was gonna say Miss Yowza. Miss Babs Yowza base, which is a DK. Yeah, and the color, I don't know that I'm gonna, oh yeah, the colorway was a custom colorway for the shop hop for Stephen B, and I think it was Stephen B Goes Gaga, which was the knit along that year, not the knit along, the shop hop that year was
music themed,
and his shop was Lady Gaga, so of course.
So
anyway, I'm loving knitting that. I'll be honest, I did make quite a bit of progress earlier in the week, but then I switched to focusing on my
sweater
because I wanted to finish the sleeve, and then the sock because I wanted to finish the sock.
Cool.
So I'll get back more to that. And we've got till the end of July.
Yeah,
so. Cool.
That's exciting. I'm excited about both of our projects. I'm really excited about doing the Argyle sock.
Yeah.
I think it'll be super fun, and again, the yarn will be coming probably in the next day or two, so I can get started on that pretty soon. So we don't really, you did your acquisitions, so we just really have our
Jessica,
our
Angela Lansbury,
our
Elmalong.
So, okay.
All right, so this week your homework was to watch Pirates of Penzance. And yeah, that's one of, I feel like I should have just left it in my childhood memory.
Oh, you didn't like it again?
I did, but
so let's
when I was a child, I loved it.
Yeah. So let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
So what do we need to know?
Oh yeah, okay. So it was 1983. She was 57, 58.
58?
No. So 25.
She was 53.
No, 25.
Born 25.
So she was 58.
58?
Yeah. Wait, was it 83?
How old is she now? That would make her like 120.
Okay, hang on. Oh yeah. No, she's okay, hang on.
She's 95 right now.
So 25, okay, add 5 to that, it's 1930. So 53 plus 5 is, she was 58.
God, wow. And
yes, remember she was 57 or 58 and she was playing
a 47-year-old.
In the song she sang about being 47. So she was, and we knew she was 10 years older than that.
Wow, I thought she was, yeah, she looked 58. She's
But she's always looked 58. Since she was 19, she looked 58.
That's true. So, but she had second billing.
She had second billing. That's right. She had second billing
after Kevin Kline.
So that was what the things we always monitor.
So she's playing below her age. She's second billing
by 10 years.
10 years. So, and she's really good in it. I mean, I think she's
well,
Ruth.
Right.
And she's very funny. She wears some fabulous costumes.
The pirate costume when she turns into a full pirate.
Right.
Pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty great. So, thoughts on the movie?
No, so you've been building this up. There's something you're going to talk about
there are a couple of things
that I've been waiting to hear.
So, here's the deal. Here's my perspective. I did not grow up watching this movie, but I did grow up watching Gilbert and Sullivan. So I remember when I was my grandmother Salisbury. She was very into theater, and
So when she was in the kitchen, did you say Grandmother Salisbury?
yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
She was a very proper woman.
Yeah.
She was so proper, her ears weren't pierced. She had clip-on earrings. Well, her father was a Presbyterian minister.
Okay.
So, or no, that was, I can't remember. There was, yeah. So
Anyway.
anyway, she was kind of really into the local community theater in Oswego, New York. She was really into theater, so we went to go see a production of The Mikado when I was like 11. And like, I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And
Yay.
no.
Go ahead.
Gilbert Sullivan transcends like
No, it don't.
okay, whatever. So I remember seeing The Mikado when I was like a kid, and I actually remember watching a production of Pirates of Penzance, a filmed stage version when I was a little kid too with her. And so I loved Gilbert Sullivan, and like my favorite movie is Topsy Turvy. So that's just, I like Gilbert Sullivan.
That's an insight into your personality,
it really
your
is.
mind.
It really is. It's no one else's favorite movie but mine. So anyway, so I guess my first problem is that you start the movie and it's like like this. You have this like orchestral score set on a synthesizer.
Yeah, 1983 synthesizer.
It just sounds like tinny and crappy.
Yeah, I will give you that.
So that is my first problem. And then the other thing that I had an issue with, so it's a very funny movie. I'm not taking away from that at all. Like, it's funny, it's campy, they do a lot of like fun shtick with it and stuff like that. But I guess my thing is with Gilbert and Sullivan, like the whole point of it is the lyrics are so witty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this level of like wordplay and like funny jokes and stuff like that. And you just, in my mind, you don't need shtick. And in fact, the shtick takes away from the wit.
What would you say is shtick in this movie that's not an integral part of doing the play or doing the musical?
Well, like,
performing it?
so Kevin Kline is running around the ship, he's keep banging his head and stuff like that.
Oh.
Like, and like,
So you think that's shtick?
it's like broad physical comedy.
I think it does. I will say, I think it probably is done to, I'm agreeing with you. I think that's probably done to help someone who's not able to listen to the lyrics, understand them, and get the wit.
Yeah.
Also enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just, I think it's one of those things that you don't...
Which was probably one of the most condescending things I've ever said. But
Probably. I mean, and it's, you don't... I guess there are better ways when you have, like... Okay, and here's my analogy, right?
Okay.
So, it's like you did a movie version of Pride and Prejudice, right?
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
So... we just lost a whole bunch of footage.
So
Not a whole bunch.
but like a couple minutes. So we're gonna try to start
Recapture the magic.
Recapture the magic. Hopefully, if it seems a little like not spontaneous, it might feel less spontaneous than the usual thing because it is less spontaneous.
We're reading from the script.
We're reading from memory. So
Yeah.
So anyway, so
as you were saying.
as I was saying. So I guess my problem with the broad physical humor is...
Okay, full disclosure, John and I have never had to re-record a segment before, so this is very weird because it feels like we're like...
It
feels very much like... now it's like a play.
Right.
that we're acting out. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So what we were discussing before the hot sun
Unfortunate
so
incident.
rudely cut off was we were talking about Hearts of Penzance and kind of how I didn't really care for the broad physical humor in it, and I had a metaphor.
Yes.
And I felt like it was a little bit like so.
You just said like, so now it's an analogy.
Simile dare.
Simile, damn it! Nobody likes you. Stop leaning towards me because you're going to get blocked by the pole.
We're just going to take that in post-production, right?
Yes.
It reminded me kind of like if you had, so I always think about Pride and Prejudice, which is fantastic at every level, right? So you did a movie version of Pride and Prejudice, and there's that scene where Jane has gotten sick and she's staying at the Bingleys, with the Bingleys. And Elizabeth walks across the fields to go visit Jane. And there's a scene where she comes in from having walked across the fields and, you know, her dress is muddy and she's kind of like in all disarray and stuff like that. And the Bingley sisters are like, oh, look at her. She's so gross and she's so common for doing that. And look at her dress. And then Bingley's like, oh, I think she's never looked better, right? So
Not Bingley.
Oh, Darcy, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Darcy.
Darcy is like, oh, I think she looks fabulous. And sort of like, you know, they were dissing on Elizabeth because whatever. So anyway, it's this really funny scene, and it tells you a lot about the characters and stuff like that. And I feel like, so it's all done through like character stuff, like very character-driven dialogue and stuff like that. And it's very funny. And very
well, but so you're in your original discussion on this topic, you'd pointed out what it would be like. Were you getting to that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going off on a tangent.
No.
This is really weird because now I know what you're going to say, and so I'm going to try to correct you.
Right. Jesus.
This is a disaster.
This is a disaster. It'll be
I'm sorry, because I was afraid you were going to lose that
live television, everybody.
I was afraid you were going to lose that good point that you had made.
So like, you know, you have this very witty scene, and I feel like what this version of Pirates of Penzance is like is if you took that scene, but you decided that scene needed a little punching up, and so you had in that scene before where Elizabeth's walking across the fields, she steps in a big pile, like, right, and so she walks in the room, and everyone's like reacting, and they're also like, oh, she smells awful. So there's this extra like funny little like shtick going on, and it's all about the and that Elizabeth Bennet smells like, and the last line is Darcy's like, smells pretty good to me, right?
Right.
It was funnier. You did a better laugh the first time. Can you just?
No, I'm thinking about the fact that I'm gonna have to beep every time you say that word because they'll demonetize our video.
Oh, poo.
But I've got the
You got a bleep.
I've got a bleep sound saved up, so it's fine.
So anyway, that's what I felt like. You know, you have this really witty source material that doesn't necessarily need punching up.
Right.
And I felt this movie was all about like making it big.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I feel like it didn't necessarily need it, and it actually takes away from the kind of really cleverness of the lyrics.
Right. Well, and I think too, not knowing Gilbert and Sullivan in any deep way,
Right.
I don't think I guess what that analogy helps me realize is that the specialness of Gilbert and Sullivan
Right.
is, and why Gilbert and Sullivan is Gilbert and Sullivan.
It's because of the music and the words.
Yeah,
right?
not necessarily Kevin Kline bumping his head on a
Right.
mast.
Right.
You know.
And like, you know, for the music, they took an orchestral score and like on a Casio, and they just, I don't know. I mean, I probably sound like the biggest snob in the world, but again, it's just
You
like,
are, honey.
I know,
You are.
really am. But it's also something that's like very dear to me, like, you know,
Right,
the memories
right.
of watching the grandmother and. Anywho, so I guess what I'm saying is that Joseph Papp, you're a hack, and you know nothing about putting on theater.
I think his Tonys or his, Oscars or whatever.
His lifetime achievement for like, you know.
The fact that he mounted a successful revival of Broadway revival of Pirates of Penzance.
Well, no, I mean he's the person. Shakespeare in the Park is like his thing. Like,
oh,
the
really?
Public theater.
I only know him from the.
Oh yeah, no. He's like one of those people like you like look at like. Yeah, no, he's like
Gods
legendary.
of theater, yeah.
Gods of New York City. Gods of theater, period.
Yeah.
So, but I do know better than him. I also think that if it had been, maybe if it was on stage, it might have been a little, I feel like with the movie, it was like all too broad.
Yeah.
And like maybe if it was on a stage, it would be kind of an accent note and not as prominent.
Right. And so one of the other things that I found when I was reading about the movie that was really interesting to me was the fact that this movie was released simultaneously in the theaters and on cable, premium cable.
Right.
Which I don't know that had been done before.
Right.
And so most of the movie theaters boycotted and did not show the theater. It made less than $1 million at the box office, but it was pretty well reviewed and was popular amongst audiences. And it was, I can't remember if it was 19 or 90 theaters that it was released in, and which reminds me of what's happening today with the COVID stuff. And what was the movie? Trolls. Universal Pictures released Trolls in well, actually, I think in this case they released it
at the same time.
I can't remember if theaters were closed
I think they were either just about to close
or had just closed.
Yeah.
But regardless, AMC had come out at that point and said, "Yep, now that you're releasing stuff in pay-per-view simultaneously with theaters," and I think Universal had made noises about the fact that they were going to look at this model moving forward.
Right.
Universal or AMC had said that they were going to boycott or not show Universal movies in their theaters moving forward. Which,
wait until they have a big movie.
Right.
But new times, new things.
Yeah. So Pirates of Penzance. Ta-da.
Yeah, ta-da. And again, I want to say, it was a fun movie to watch. So, I wouldn't say, don't watch this movie. It's just, I had an opinion.
Right.
Which may or may not be the correct opinion.
Right. So, now, your homework for next week. We have a viewer suggestion.
I know, and I'm very excited about this because I know nothing about this movie. Zero.
I don't have the information in front of me to pull up.
Right.
Because it's on my phone and we're using this to record. However, it came from Emerald Stitches, who had instant messaged me or direct messaged me on Instagram and said that there is a movie called
The Love She Sought.
The Love She Sought?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll make sure we get that correct.
Yeah.
I've got my phone now.
Okay,
it's working again. The Love She Sought. It's a TV movie.
Yeah, made for TV movie. So Emerald Stitches had recommended, and I apologize. I don't. Let me get through this.
No, it gets better.
Okay, hold your moment. Put a pin in it.
Okay.
Emerald Stitches. I don't have your real name, but she had messaged me on Instagram 2 years back in 2018 about how much she enjoyed our podcast and the fact that she was born in Albany, Georgia, which is where I'm from, and which is also where I was born. She now lives in Texas, and back in 2018 she had mentioned that she was trying to open a yarn store in Wichita Falls, which is near Dallas, 150 miles from Dallas or so. I'm not sure if that actually happened, so let us know. But she said in her message to me that it was like a precursor to the Lifetime movies, which
we're all big
there's
fans.
no better art form on the planet than Lifetime
The only
movies.
better art form is Lifetime Christmas movies and or Netflix Lifetime
Christmas movies, yeah. But so anyway, go ahead.
So here's the summary, and this is why I got really excited.
Okay.
So, aging school teacher Dame Angela Lansbury is teaching at a Catholic grammar school in Minnesota.
You are kidding me.
No. So according to the synopsis,
okay, go ahead.
She's
sorry.
in Minnesota. So we're going to watch Angela Lansbury possibly do a Minnesota accent.
And maybe, who knows if they filmed some of it here.
It was probably filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah. That's exciting.
I know. So The Love She Sought, I think it's available. She says on YouTube.
YouTube. It's on Amazon Prime. Well, it's either on Amazon Prime or you can buy it from Amazon.
Yeah.
One or the other. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, you can watch now on Amazon Prime.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we can get it on Amazon Prime. But it has.
Okay, here's the cast: Angela Lansbury, Denham Elliott.
What else is done? I recognize his face, but
he's a British actor, obviously. He's best known as in the Indiana Jones movies. He's like their They're like
goofy.
They're goofy British sidekick.
Got it. Okay.
Also starring Cynthia Nixon.
Really? How old is she?
Well, it's 1990, so.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
and then other people I don't know about.
Okay. So the love she sought.
The love she sought.
Perfect. So that's our next one.
And it's gotten really good reviews.
Yeah, it's gotten really good reviews, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny. But so anyway, that's your homework for next week, and we will be back with. I will hopefully have gotten through a lot of my second sleeve on my sweater, made progress on my Entrelac hat if I've not finished it, and you will have finished a pair of Argyle socks for me.
Absolutely. 100%. I just found another movie we need to watch.
What's that?
It's called A Talent for Murder.
Is that Angela Lansbury?
1984. A famed mystery writer, Dame Angela Lansbury. So it's like another pre-Murder She Wrote thing. And her Dr. Ex-lover, Sir Laurence Olivier, team up to solve the daughter-in-law's murder. So
We'll hold on to that one
oh my God, I'm very excited.
Yes, but The Love She Sought is
The
for
love
next
she sought,
week.
yeah.
So
Awesome.
anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know what we talked about the first time we recorded this and forgot, but
Nope, it's all good. It's all good. It is in the ether.
yes.
So
All right. So thanks. Bye.
bye.